Hey, how's it going everyone? ZookeeperChris here. Today is the big day, the launch of Planet Zoo's Aquatic DLC. And with that, I wanted to give you all an in-depth look at everything that is included with the Aquatic pack. This video will be for anyone who's thinking about purchasing the DLC and wants to see exactly what you get, as well as hearing the thoughts and opinions from someone who's been a zookeeper for over 10 years now. If you're watching this video on launch day, you can probably catch me live right now over at twitch.tv/ZookeeperChris, where we will be playing Planet Zoo pretty much all day and chatting about today's big changes. I will also be making a separate video showcasing everything that was added for free with today's 1.4 update, so be sure to check that video out as well. I'll leave a link in the description. As always, we will have timestamps throughout today's video, so if you want to hop around, be sure to check those out in the description as well. With all of that out the way, let's dive into today's video. So first thing I want to mention here is that I made this sandbox zoo just to show off everything in the DLC pack. This is definitely not how I normally make my zoos, so let's just consider this a judgment-free zone. So to start this video off, let's take a look at each of the animals that you get with the Aquatic Pack DLC. I do want to mention that with this Aquatic Pack, a lot of new game mechanics have been added. The developers have been hard at work from home, which presents many unique challenges. Throughout my filming, I have noticed some bugs here and there, from animals getting stuck in the water to bugged animations to them just escaping some habitat somehow. There have been a couple of issues. Even with these issues, I personally do not consider any of these game breaking and would still recommend the Aquatic Pack to anybody who plays Planet Zoo. And one thing is for sure, and that is that the Planet Zoo team have always been very quick to address bugs that may show up whenever new content is added. So I expect many of these issues to be resolved very quickly. Now, the first thing that I want to mention here is that these habitats I'm using are actually pre-made and available to you when you purchase the DLC. The next thing I want to mention is that honestly, I would probably recommend you just build your own habitats. The large aquatic habitat to the left seemed to have some issues where both the giant river otter and the dwarf caiman somehow escaped. Even when I checked their heat maps, there were no signs of them being able to escape. The medium aquatic habitat to the right seems to work pretty well for its intended species, the king penguin. However, I did try to use it for the seal just to make things easier on myself, and I quickly noticed that they were a bit too big to get in the water underneath the ice bridge. You can also see that the terrain around these habitats are all messed up, and it was kind of difficult to place these habitats and get them connected to a pathway. So like I said, at the end of the day, I would just recommend you try and build your own habitats. It's probably going to be a lot easier than trying to place these and get them to work properly. But I do appreciate the Planet Zoo developers putting this into the game. Hopefully it'll be a sign of things to come in the future that will help out new players. With all of that being said, let's check out these animals. To start this video off, we're going to go ahead and start by checking out all of the different animals that are included with this Aquatic Pack DLC. For starters, we've got the king penguin here. This is a full-grown male adult. And on the right here, we have a full-grown female. We've got the mating ritual here for the king penguins. And here we have a baby king penguin. Next up, I just want to show off some of their in-game behaviors and animations. And another thing that I want to mention about the baby king penguin is, just like the gray seals, I'm pretty sure that these guys do not go in the water and dive at all. They just stay on land until they mature into a full-grown adult, at which point, of course, then they will begin to go diving. And here we have a family of giant river otter. In the back, we have the male sleeping. Up front here, we have the female, and the one just running away is the cute little baby. Here we have a giant river otter pair performing their mating ritual. And next up, I'll show a few of the giant river otter behaviors. Next up, we have the gray seal. Up front, we have a male, and in back, we have a female. And further on past that, we have a cute baby gray seal. Next up, we have the Cuvier's Dwarf Caiman. This here is a full-grown male. And this one here is a full-grown adult female, which honestly looks around the same size as the babies, maybe a little bit bigger. And here we've got a baby Cuvier's Dwarf Caiman. And finally, last but not least, we have the Diamondback Terrapin. This right here is one of the pre-made shells that come with the DLC. And this display currently has all of the decorations that you can put into the exhibit. And as you can see here, they do move around a little bit, but for the most part, they hang out in one general area, just like the rest of the exhibit animals do in the game. Now that we've shown all the animals, let's take a look at all of the awesome new foliage getting added with the Aquatic Pack DLC. First up, we have the Titan Arum, which is also known as the corpse flower. We have 3 different sizes of the underwater hydrilla plant. We have 3 different sizes of the underwater hyacinth, one of which has flowers on it, which is really cool. We have 3 different ponytail palm trees. We have 3 different sizes of the lipstick palm tree. And last but not least, we have the massive giant rhubarb. Next up, also in the foliage category, we have the faux rocks. These are called aquatic faux rocks, and what's really cool about these, and we have not had before in the game, is they are recolorable. You can see that you actually have 2 options. You have the main color, and then you also have the color of the cracks and shadows. Up front here, we have the aquatic faux rock tree. So it is a fake tree. And in the background, they have a pre-built one that you can put down in your zoo. And it just gives you an idea of the possibilities of this rock tree. And then next up, we have a couple of blueprints, which you can put down that are also found in the nature category. I'll just go ahead and slowly pan over here. If you need it to go any slower, feel free to pause. Next up over here, we have some of the habitat pieces that are included with the aquatic pack. Over to the left here, we have some pre-made shelters. I think all of these pieces in here are actually from the base game. However, the blueprint itself is only in the aquatic pack. In the center here, we have the pre-made aquatic jetties. Off to the right here, we have a pre-made aquatic penguin shelter. Next up, we have the floating platform, which many of you saw in the trailer where the penguin came up from underneath the water and jumped up onto it. And last but not least, we have these adorable rubber duck enrichment items, which you can see are color customizable. You can change the color of the body and the bill. Next up, we're going to take a look at all of the construction pieces being added. First up, we have the aquatic penguins sculpture, which has 2 pieces. One of them is mirrored, and you can see that they are color customizable. We also have this cute little seagull decoration. Next up, we have a couple more animal panels, which are color customizable. And down here in the front, we actually have a piece that is intended to be a shop awning. We have these really cool looking big signs for each of the animals added with this DLC. So we have the Cuvier's Dwarf Caiman. We have the Diamondback Terrapin, the giant river otter, the gray seal, and last but not least, the king penguin. Also, with all of these animals, except for the poor Diamondback Terrapin, we have bronze sculptures. For each of these bronze sculptures, there are also concrete sculptures of the same exact ones. The bronze ones are not recolorable, but the concrete ones are recolorable, as you can see with these ones in front here on the Cuvier's Dwarf Caiman. So moving on, we have quite a few of the giant river otter bronze sculptures. And again, each of these do have a concrete counterpart, which is recolorable. We have a couple of gray seal sculptures. And finally, we have a couple of king penguin sculptures. Next up, we have the shop fascia, which is recolorable except for the white and black lines on here. Next up, we have a couple of Zoopedia frames. These are meant to go over your educational boards. They are adorable. And we also have a new special effect item being added, the bubbles, which come in 3 different sizes. We have some aquatic fence pieces being added to the game. And we also have 3 new lights being added. Each of them are color customizable, as you can see here with the crazy colors that I added. Next up, we have some of the building pieces. This is the painted slate roof, which you can see in the back is color customizable, as demonstrated by my wild and crazy colors back there. We also have 2 different size planted wood panels being added. Really cool if you want to have like a living wall. And also being added are the stained wood pieces. Also being added to the Aquatic DLC are these really cool mural pieces, which you can just put up on walls. Another really cool construction piece being added to the game are these pre-made waterfall cliff formations. And you can see here with the one on the right, these are recolorable. And just to give you an idea of what these can look like while they're in use, here is a display that was already pre-made in one of the pre-made aquatic habitats. And to wrap this video up, we're going to show off some of the construction blueprints that have been added with this DLC. First off, I want to show some of the new pre-made staff buildings that are included. We have some of these smaller staff buildings that are elevated, which is really cool. We have the vet surgery building. We have the research center here. We have the large keeper hut. This here is the large quarantine building. The small quarantine building. And both the large and small staff rooms. We also have 2 vendor shells. This one is the smaller one. And over here we have the large shell. First up, we have this river otter fountain. We have this king penguin display with some fog or mist. We have some log pieces here. So this is a log shed. We have the log watchtower. And we also have this forest log light post. And just like those pre-made habitat shelters for the animals, all of these pieces I do believe are available in the base game. However, the Aquatic Pack DLC has these in pre-made blueprints for you to use. The base game does not have these blueprints. Next up, we have this really cool, very large watchtower and this small wooden lighthouse. We have this absolutely massive red barn. And last but not least, we have this really cool covered bridge. And one thing that I almost forgot to mention is that they have added a new timed challenge mode, the Red Barn River Zoo. Set deep in the heart of Oregon, USA, the Red Barn River Zoo started as a small family-run zoo during the late 80s. Following a recent large donation, the owners want you to expand and modernize the zoo in time for the next tourist season. Turn this zoo from a tiny creek to a majestic river. So I think we've covered just about everything in the Aquatic Pack DLC. There have been quite a lot of new things added, and if I missed anything, be sure to let me know in the comments section down below. I want to give a huge thank you to anyone who has watched my videos, subscribed to the channel, or has joined us for any of our live streams over on our Twitch channel. Because of your continued support, I was able to get early access to today's content so I could get this video out to you as soon as possible. And of course, thank you to Planet Zoo for offering me that early access. I really hope you all enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comment section down below if you purchased the Aquatic DLC and what your favorite part about it is. Have a great rest of your week, everyone, and until next time, stay wild. And I believe this king penguin here is about to give birth, or just nap. She may be napping. She may be napping before the birth. And that one in the background just took a big poo. I think she may be stuck taking a nap. Oh, she woke up.